All right, good afternoon, everyone. How we doing today? I need more than that, more clear. How we doing today? All right, good. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Jordan Davis, motivational speaker, academic success coach, developer, solopreneur, sophomore at McDaniel College. It is so great to be here in front of you guys today. I just want to say a special thank you to Shane, to E for allowing me to come here and present to you guys today. I really do appreciate it whenever I get the opportunity to speak to students, especially a part of BCPS. Now, today's presentation is going to be about creating vision and clarity for your life. Right, and I heard E, she was up here talking, and she said, the only thing that you can control is your effort. Right, and the effort is one of the #1 proponents, right? And that speaks near and dear to my heart because I think about my story and how I developed as a student in high school. I'm a graduate from Randallstown High School. I've been in Randallstown my entire life. I go to school currently at McDaniel College, which is in Westminster, Maryland. I actually had a speech in my public speaking class for McDaniel College before I got here. I did my speech first. I left class early, then I got straight here to be in front of you guys today. And, in my experience at Randallstown High School, I had a digital arts class in my junior year. Right, and it's one of those classes where it was pretty difficult. I'd always been good at the arts, but this was one of the first times that I had been challenged as far as my artistic ability. Right, and we had a teacher in this class, and her name was Miss Ween. And Miss Ween was like an infamous teacher in the school. She was one of those strict teachers, like nobody really liked her. But I was fortunate enough to be able to see through her being strict and realize that she just wanted the best out of every student that she taught. And in about November of 2015, which was my junior year of high school, we had an essay that was due in this arts class. Right, and it's one of those assignments that you do it online, you submit it, and then you come in the next class and talk about it. You talk about the grade and how you did on the assignment. So I submit the assignment overnight. 20 minutes into the following class, Miss Ween comes over to my desk and she says, "Jordan, I need to see you after class." So I said, "Cool." We wait until everybody leaves, and then it's just me and Miss Ween in the classroom. We start talking. One of the first things that she told me as a junior in high school, she says, "Jordan, that was one of the best essays I've ever read from any student that I've taught." Guys, she'd been teaching for over 20 years. Like, I was geeked up when she told me that. Right, but then the second thing that she told me in that same conversation, I believe changed everything for me. Like, that first sentence, she had spoke life into me, and she had exposed something in me that I'd never seen in myself before, but then she challenged me. She said, "I know you're an A student. Like, I know you're getting A's and B's, like, just based off of the talent that you displayed in this essay. You're probably going on to do great things. You probably already know what college you want to go to. You probably already have your major figured out. You got it all together. Keep going." And it felt good in the moment. Like I said, I was geeked up about it. Right, but then later that day, I had to go home and look in the mirror at a student who at the time had a 2.4 GPA. Right, C's and D's on my report card. I had never gotten straight A's in my entire life. And this teacher just told me to my face that I was one of the most talented students that she had ever witnessed in the classroom. Guys, that same day, I replayed my entire academic career back over in my head. I realized that my entire career, I was never giving 110% when it came to my academics. It seemed like my entire life, all the way up into them, people were telling me that I was talented. Right? I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. I played football, I wrestled, and I ran track. I was gifted in all 3. Like, people were always telling me that I was talented on the athletic field. People always told me that I knew how to speak well and convey my ideas effectively. But whenever it came to school, I knew, before she had even told me, that I wasn't giving it everything that I had. Right, so from that day forward, I decided to commit myself to achieving academic excellence. Because I thought to myself, I said, if this teacher could think this about me just based off of one assignment, think about every single teacher that saw greatness in me but didn't tell me. Right, think about every person that was supporting me behind my back that I didn't even know was supporting me. Right, and imagine the grades that I could possibly get if I had just put forth that same effort and energy into every single assignment that I had in school. So over the next 60 days, I worked hard. I made sure that I did every single assignment that came my way, no exceptions. And at that point, it wasn't even about a grade. It wasn't even about trying to get into college. It was proving myself to somebody who saw greatness in me. It was one conversation that changed everything. And in the span of 60 days, I was able to go from earning C's and D's on that first quarter report card of my junior year of high school to earning straight A's in the very next quarter. Complete 60-day turnaround. Went from C's and D's to straight A's in a 60-day time period. It came based off of my effort and the energy that I put into my schoolwork. Guys, I'll never forget the day that I actually got my second quarter report card. I actually skipped track practice so I could be able to meet my mom home after she got off work. Right, as soon as she walked through the door, I gave her the report card. She started crying, tears of joy. I'll never forget that feeling. I told her in the beginning of the quarter, I'm like, Ma, this is the quarter that I'm going to earn straight A's. She was like, show me. I was like, cool, I got it. And then I ended up earning straight A's. I'll never forget that feeling of doing something that I knew I was capable of doing, but now I'm doing it for somebody that's greater than me. Because at first, when I was a student, I was selfish. And I didn't even know what I wanted as far as my career. Like that teacher said that I knew and I had it all together. I really didn't. I didn't know what I wanted to become. Right, but in my senior year of high school, I competed in Future Business Leaders of America. Right, and it's an organization that allows students to compete in business-themed events. And I had a presentation for my financial planning class in my senior year of high school. Right, and in this presentation, I shut the classroom down. Like I got up and presented like I am now. Nobody wanted to come up after me. It was like, yo, we cutting class early. Like it's over. Y'all can come back on Friday and present. Right, so I shut the presentation down. It was the exact same deal. My teacher comes over to me. She said, Jordan, can I talk to you for a minute? I said, cool. So it's me and Miss Wayne, who is it's me and Miss White, who is the FBLA advisor at Randallstown High School. And we're sitting in the classroom, we're talking. And she said, Jordan, have you ever thought about being a part of FBLA? First question I asked her, I said, what does FBLA even stand for? She said it stands for Future Business Leaders of America. I said, that sounds important. Sign me up. All right, so we got the paper. Well, I filled out the information for public speaking. About a month and a half later, I'm at the 2016 FBLA Regional Leadership Conference, where I competed in the category of public speaking too. Right, at the regional conference, I placed third in the region in public speaking too. Right, which may be eligible for the state leadership conference in downtown Baltimore. Right, at the state leadership conference, I placed first in the state of Maryland in public speaking too. Right, then I went to the national leadership conference in Anaheim, California, where out of the top 120 youth public speakers in the entire country, I placed 7th in the country in public speaking too, just my first year in the program. Guys, all of those opportunities, came inside of the classroom. Like, imagine if I didn't apply myself for that financial planning presentation. I would have never been a part of FBLA. Imagine if I didn't give that one essay everything that I had. I would have never had that conversation with my teacher that woke me up. And I want to ask you, what kind of assignments and what kind of opportunities are you missing out on because you're looking at it at face value? Guys, I'll tell you, in life, it's not even about a grade. Like, it's not even about an SAT score or a GPA. Like, if you put a certain amount of effort and energy into your life, your everyday life, like the fruits of your labor will come to you. Like, guys, opportunities were created for me because I put in the effort and the energy to make them happen. Like, they started all in the classroom. These are assignments in the classroom. In 2016, I spoke at the PBS National Education Telecommunications Convention. That came from a PowerPoint presentation that I did in my English class. Right, and the classroom was too small for us to have our presentations that year, so we would always have our presentations in the library. Ms. Johnson, who is the librarian at Randallstown High School, is Google certified, and she travels the country and speaks to certain groups about how to use technology and education. Right, she needed a student's point of view on how to effectively use technology, and she said, Jordan, I want you to speak at this conference in front of principals and administrators from all around the country. Right, I want you to speak, 16 years old. Guys, I don't say this to gloat. I say this to say that there are opportunities that you might be missing out on because you're not taking school as seriously as you possibly can. Right, and I'm not even saying that you even have to have a 2.4 GPA to take school seriously. There's some of you with a 3.5 GPA that's capable of getting a 3.9, but you're not giving school everything that you have. Right, there's somebody in here with a 3.0, right, 3.2, 3.4. It doesn't matter what the GPA is. You might be giving 80%. Right, you might be giving 90%. You might be giving 95%. I want to give you that extra 5. Like, what will happen if you just put forth that extra 5% of energy? Right, so I'm challenging everybody today to not only apply themselves as far as their effort, but once you start reaching a certain level of consistency and success academically, then you can start to set goals outside of the classroom in order to be successful. Guys, I found my gift in public speaking and motivational speaking through the assignments and the classes that I had in school. Right, it wasn't a special program that I had to go to. I didn't transfer schools in order to improve my grade. It was solely based off of how much I cared about school. Guys, and nobody really pays me to speak about, on the behalf of education. Right, like I said, it's not even about a GPA. I'm not even asking you to go to college. If you graduate from here and you start your own business or you become a rapper or a singer, that's cool. But I'm just asking you to put in the work and the effort. And it starts with your academic experience. Now, I know Shane asked me to speak on the topic of my past does not define my future. Right, but I always say the past does not define your future, but it develops you in order to achieve success for your future. Your past does not define you, but it develops you. Guys, I don't have the title of a 2.4 GPA anymore. Now I have a 3.9 GPA at McDaniel College. But it's about going from 2.4 to then 2.8 once I graduated high school, and then 2.8 to 3.2 my first semester at McDaniel College, and then from 3.2 to 3.5 in the spring semester, and now 3.5 to 3.9 this past fall. Guys, you see the progression. And I was able to find transferable processes in everything that I did academically, as far as planning, as far as self-awareness, knowing who I was as a person, as far as being consistent, again, doing every single assignment that I got in school. Right? And I know that some people might be struggling in this classroom right now. And struggles are subjective. Right? So my struggles aren't going to look like your struggles. Like my past will not look like your past. There might be some people in this classroom that come from a single parent home. Right? Whether you believe it or not, that could potentially be a struggle. Like there's somebody in here that is not gifted in math, that's not gifted in science. That might be your struggle. That was me. Like math and science, I wasn't with it. Like give me an essay, I'll knock it out in a couple hours. Math and science, I'm still doing the assignment on Friday. What's today? Wednesday, Friday, I'm still doing the same assignment. Right, but I focused on my strengths and I realized that the past developed me for my future. Right, so like I said, our struggles are gonna look different. Right, but I want you to view your struggles and view your past and develop a chip on your shoulder. Guys, I played football at McDaniel College for a year and a half. Right, I played strong safety. I played running back and strong safety my whole entire high school career. Now I'm at McDaniel College. I'm playing strong safety. I quit about 2 months ago to focus on this right here. Not only do I have a speaking engagement tomorrow, but I'm actually doing a TED Talk next week in Tacoma Park. Guys, thank you. Guys, I put in the work to be here. And I'm not dwelling on the past. I just realized that I had to make sacrifices in the past to get to where I am now. And guys, every time I come up here to speak, I speak with a chip on my shoulder. Every time I speak to a student and I look a student in the eye and they're asking me about their life, I take it so seriously because of what I had to give up in order to be here. I had the opportunity to play college football. Guys, I went to every single practice my freshman year. I went to every single meeting. I didn't miss a weight room session. I never played one snap of college football. I rode the bench the entire year. And I think about that every time I stand up here and speak. And I think about that every time I walk into the gym and I see the football guys in there. Guys, I think about that and I don't dwell on the past. I use it to fuel me. And I always say that your past is behind you, so you might as well let it push you. No, the past is behind you. Like, I don't need you to stare at the past. I just need you to look in the rear view and be like, okay, that's there, but I'm using the same process that I used in order to get here to move even further. Right, so I look at my past, realize that when I graduated, I was the 2017 Randalltown High School Principals Award winner, right? Independent Research Award winner, FBLA Achievement Award winner, right? Had impact all across the school. I got 0 outside scholarships to go to college. Only 1 college believed in me. Got denied by 4 colleges. I'm one of the top youth public speakers in the entire country. There were 4 colleges that was like, no, you're not good enough. Right, like I said, I got 0 outside scholarships to go to college. Guys, that's my past, and I let that fuel me every single day. And I posted the other day, I'm like, yo, if you know your worth, that's powerful. Like, figure out what your worth is, and if somebody doesn't know your worth, prove it to them. If somebody doesn't know your worth, let them know what your worth is. Right, and I use my past every single day to say, look, I went from 2.4 to 3.9. I went from sleeping in the back of the classroom to dean's list. I went from somebody who sat in the back, didn't say anything to anybody, to now I'm up here speaking. Guys, I want you to take every single opportunity that you have in school to be great. And I'm not just talking about the classroom. I got some basketball guys in here. Every time you go to practice, you never know what kind of gift you can unlock in practice. Guys, I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation for my English class that turned into a national speaking engagement at a conference. Imagine if you applied yourself every single practice. Imagine if you applied yourself every single meeting. So when you walk into the meeting, when you walk into the classroom, you will be inspired not because of the opportunity that is seen, but to create an opportunity that is unseen. Guys, I want to harp on this even more. My past does not define me. It develops me. Right, and I use a lot of transferable processes that I learned from going from C's and D's to straight A's. Right, one of the first things that I did as a student in order to improve my grades is that I went to every single teacher that I had at the time. right? And I sat him down face to face. It's like we meeting after school. I'm sitting down talking to the teacher, and I said, Miss So-and-so, I want to earn an A in your class. What can I do more in order to make that come to fruition? Like, I'm trying to achieve this. What do I need to do in order to get to the point where I am? Right? And sometimes you have to make your goals known. Right? And once I made my goals known, and I got used to sitting down with my teachers every week, every 2 weeks to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do, I even use that process now as a motivational speaker. Guys, I was improving my grades when I was 16, 17 years old. Now I'm 19 years old. I can walk into a school and sit face to face with a principal and talk to them about my value as a speaker and have the confidence to present my business idea. Guys, I wasn't able to do that when I was 16 years old, when I first started. Right? But it's the process of sitting down and talking to people, telling them what I want. Right? So look at your past. Right? Don't stare at it. Look at it in the rearview mirror and say, I'm going to let this push me. I'm going to have a chip on my shoulder with everything that I do. And I'm going to give 110% effort and energy in what I do because of the unseen opportunity and the opportunity to use those transferable processes. Right? And really, I want to teach you 3 main things on today. Guys, I want you to see it, say it, and then show it. Repeat after me. See it, say it, show it. Come on again. See it, say it, and then show it. Guys, I want you to first see it. So if you don't know what you want to do after you graduate, if you don't know what you want to major in, I want you to spend time every day, just an extra 30 minutes, just thinking about your future and what you want to do. Just start thinking about it. 30 minutes a day for the next 14 to 21 days. Start thinking about what you want to accomplish after you leave here. And right, once you start to formulate that thought in your mind, once you start to think about what I enjoy doing, right, what I'm already talented at, what my parents like to see me do, all of these things combined, then you can start to visualize it every single day. Once I found out my gift in speaking and I realized that I was really good at it, I started to do research and realized that this is a viable career and I can actually get paid on a regular basis to do this. Right, so then I started to see it. Right, instead of following World Star, instead of following Shade Room, instead of, watching the bloggers on YouTube, I started to watch some of the top motivational speakers in the world and how they operated. Guys, and people ask me, why am I so energetic all the time? Like, how am I able to stay so level-headed and stay so motivated all the time? Guys, because I see it every single day. Like, once you see something every single day, once you see somebody that's motivated and driven every single day, that starts to become a part of you. So if you want to become a speaker, you need to be watching some of the top speakers in the world. If you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to start a tech company, I challenge you to follow some of the most successful tech entrepreneurs out there right now. Right? If you want to be an artist, half of your feed when you scroll through Instagram, half of them should be artists. Like, there shouldn't be anything else that you're really watching. And like, I find it funny that the update, it was like a couple months ago, they let you know your screen time. Right? So for those who have the iPhone, it'll pop up the screen time and it'll just pop up on my phone. I'm like, yo, I didn't even ask to see this. Like, why are you making me feel bad? I just spent 8 hours on the phone and you showing me that I spent 8 hours. Like, can I change it to where I can check it? Like, don't let me know when I'm using my phone. Like, that's just how I feel about it. Right? But it shows you the screen time and everybody was stressed out about it. I'm like, yo, it doesn't matter how much time you're using on your phone. It's about what you're seeing when you use your phone. So if I'm looking at motivational content, when I'm looking at my phone, I'm not ashamed about my screen time. Right? When I'm answering emails instead of scrolling through Instagram, I'm looking through my emails. I'll say, okay, I need to do a follow-up email for this person. Okay, I need to respond to this email. I'm going back and forth between my emails. Like, that doesn't make me ashamed because I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing. Right? So when I watch the motivational videos and I watch the people that are at the top of their industry and what they do every day, that not only inspires me, but it allows me to see what they are doing in order to be successful. Right? And I understand we follow the entertainers and they are entertaining. Like, we follow Cardi B, right? We follow the Migos and we see them and they do the selfie video and they all in the video. Like, we like the persona, but a lot of us don't realize the work that it took for them to get there. Like, I walk with that confidence, but I also walk with the work ethic, right? So you can't try to emulate the persona and the attitude and you all like this, trying to milli rock to the beats and stuff like that. But when it comes to your schoolwork, you're not putting in the same amount of work that Cardi B is putting in. Right? Cardi B, she'll do a selfie video, right? But then she'll go in the studio from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. recording songs. Like, we like what Offset said. We see Offset on Instagram, but we don't realize that Offset does 5 interviews in a row in the same day, back to back. Like, that's the amount of work. That's the amount of work that it takes. And people ask me, Jordan, how are you so confident as a motivational speaker? Like, how are you able to stand up and speak with such confidence, with such clarity? Like, why are you so passionate and confident as a motivational speaker? Because I'm like, yo, nobody's putting in the same work that I'm putting in. Like, when I put in a certain amount of work and I see it every single day and I start to adopt that mindset, like, it becomes a part of me. And I realize that my work ethic is something that sets me apart from other people, right? So when you figure out what you want to do with your future, you need to make sure that you are consuming content that is related to that thing. You want to be a basketball player, follow, of course, the top basketball players in the world. Not only watch them, in the light where everybody is, but watch the work that it took in order for them to get to that place, right? Then we have to start saying it. And I said this at the FBLA conference. I said that the limits of your world are the limits of your language. Like, the limits of your language limit the rooms and the environments that you can get into. Right, so if you want to be an entrepreneur, I ask people all the time, you want to be an entrepreneur, when was the last time you said the word revenue? Right, you say you want to be an entrepreneur, when was the last time you did some research on how to start a business, right? How to grow capital, right? How to build a team, how to make a business plan. Like, you need to start saying it and speaking the language. And I always think back to this past Thanksgiving, because I seen my cousins for one of the first times. It's been a really long time since I seen my cousin. And we're at Thanksgiving, and I remember a couple years prior, we was playing, right? And I think she's in her early 30s, and of course I'm 19, right? But at the time, I was about 15 or 16 years old. Guys, this past Thanksgiving, we were talking about multiple streams of revenue. We were talking about starting businesses. We were talking about all these different things that we hadn't talked about a few years prior. Like, my language adapt to the fact that not only are we older, but we are more mature and we have more clarity on what we want to do with our lives. So you need to start saying some things, right? And back to the concept of seeing it, I want to jump back to seeing it, right? And I was talking with a friend yesterday, and we were talking about minority representation in the media and how it's so important, right? And I'm like, yo, it's important to see people that look like us. It's important to see people who are, in the same shoes as far as socioeconomic status as us be successful, right? So once we see it, then we can start to say it, right? We need to adopt the language. And then lastly, we need to show it, right? So once you build that strategy, once you start gaining success, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's in your sport, right? You need to be able to show it to other people, to inspire people. Right, one of the first things that I've really, tried to focus on this year is sharing the content that I consume every day. Right, I'll be sharing the motivational videos, even my personal videos that I post on YouTube. I make sure that I share them with the 15 people that are close to me. Because it's like, if you're growing and you're being successful, but the people around you aren't growing and benefiting from the gift and the blessings that you have in life, then how important are those blessings really to you? Like, if you're being successful in something and you don't share it with anybody and you're just keeping it to yourself, you're not helping anybody else grow around you. So how important is it really? So I started to share the content that I was consuming. I started to show those things to the people that I care about the most, right? So I want you to see it. Once you figure out your career path and what you want to do, start doing research and start following people that are already in that same lane, right? Then you need to say it. Your language needs to be catered to what you want to accomplish. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you should talk the entrepreneur language, right? If you want to be a professional athlete, you should be using the terminology of a professional athlete, right? And then lastly, you need to show it. Like, once you gain the knowledge, once you gain the clarity, and once you start to consume that content, share it with the people around you and show your blessings to other people, right? It's bigger than you, right? This is one of my favorite songs of 2018. I listened to it before almost every speaking engagement. Like, you have to realize that it is bigger than you. I was able to improve my grades because I realized that the picture was bigger than me, right? And I want to talk about this, right? I want you to be grateful but unsatisfied. Again, be grateful for the opportunities that you have, but be unsatisfied. Right, and it's still Black History Month, so I can still talk about it. Even if it wasn't Black History Month, I would probably still be talking about it. Right, the other day I watched a documentary on Martin Luther King, and it's called King in the Wilderness. Right, and it shared a lot of information about Dr. King that a lot of people didn't know. Like, we all know about the Civil Rights Movement and the March on Washington and Selma and all of those different things, but Martin Luther King was a part of like 7 different movements. He was a part of the voting rights movement. He was a part of the equal housing movement that strived to gain equal housing for both blacks and whites in the late 60s. Right, he was for the sanitation workers movement. There was like 7 different movements that Dr. King was a part of, and it actually showcased the last 36 months of his life and how much he struggled in those months. Right, and I admired Dr. King even more after watching that documentary because it showed that he was unsatisfied. Like the March on Washington, one of the most publicized movements in American history. He could have tapped out then. He could have been like, yo, this is my Super Bowl. Like, I'm done with it. I helped all of these people. I could sit back and chill. Like, up until the day that he died, he worked to make this planet better. Like, up until the day that he died, like I said, 7 different movements that he was advocating for, that he was a part of. He was taking flights every single day across the country. Why? Because he was unsatisfied. He was grateful because if you talk to Dr. King, he smiled in front of everybody. He shook everybody's hand. He took every picture with the kids that they wanted to take pictures. He was definitely grateful for the opportunities that he had, but he was unsatisfied. And on today, I challenge you to be grateful but unsatisfied. So somebody in this room, you might have a C and you're fine with the C. Like the C in calculus, like I was happy at first about the C in calculus because I'm like, it was calculus. Like there's some people that's failing calculus, so I could be better than them, right? And then I realized that I need to be unsatisfied with my work. It came to a point I was no longer satisfied with the C because as I grew, I knew that I was more than capable of getting greater than a C. Right? You might have a B in the class, and a B is great. Be unsatisfied and try to get the A. See what kind of opportunities you'll get. Right? Dr. King's legacy is so strong because he was unsatisfied. It wasn't about the accolades. It wasn't about the awards. It was about the legacy that he would leave for the people that he impacted. Right, and then Harriet Tubman on the Underground Railroad, she was unsatisfied. Right, she made 19 trips back and forth across the railroad to save over 300 slaves. Right, a lot of people think this was just a one-time thing. She made the railroad, all of them went. She made 19 trips back and forth, unsatisfied. The first trip, she saved 1. She said, okay, I saved 1, I'm unsatisfied. I can go back and save 5 more. Then I could go back and save 20 more. If I could save 20 more, I could save 200. If I could save 200, I could save 300. And she went back and forth over and over again because she was unsatisfied. It wasn't even about her. Again, it wasn't about accolades. She realized that she could do it once, so she repeated that process and impacted the people that she wanted to impact. Guys, be grateful, but be unsatisfied. Like you were here at Loch Raven High School, great high school. I've walked into a lot of high schools that were a lot worse, that didn't have opportunities like this. Right, that didn't have organizations as strong as this organization. Take advantage of the opportunity and be unsatisfied. Keep setting those short-term goals, right? Keep setting those long-term goals that are based off of the short-term goals, right? Be unsatisfied with your work, right? And then lastly, create the mission statement for your life and for this organization. Right, and my mission statement, this is a screenshot of my website. It is on the website to honor a legacy of education and leadership development through speech. It's on the internet. I can't run from it. So every single day that I wake up, I keep this mission statement in mind. Right, not only did I create this mission statement because I am a business, but I actually use this every day in my personal life to impact somebody. So every time I talk to a student, I keep this in mind. Honor a legacy of education. Honor the people who allowed you to walk this path, who allowed you to become a speaker, who spoke life into you, right? And then leave a legacy for those to follow. My 8 and 9-year-old nephew who are sitting in school right now. Right, honor a legacy of education and leadership development through speech. So if you had to create a mission statement for your life, what would that mission statement be? And I challenge everybody tonight, when you get home, like write a mission statement for your life and see what you will come up with. Like some people love helping the environment. Right, some people love speaking like I do. It will be very similar to this mission statement. Right, some people want to go into the sciences. Some people just generally love helping people. Like whatever you want to do in the long term, create a mission statement and wake up and look at the mission statement every single day. Guys, I'm on a college budget. Right, so I can't get like the plaque and like put up like a fancy thing on my door. So I literally just wrote on a sticky note, honor legacy through speech. And then on another sticky note, I wrote motivate the masses. I put both of them on my door and I look at them every single day before I leave my college dorm room. Yo, something simple. Because I'm like, yo, you have to look at it every single day. And I'm like, Jordan, if you were telling people to create a mission statement and you're not looking at it every single day, like how could you possibly tell other people to look at their goals every single day? Right, so create your mission statement. Right, does this organization have a mission statement? Do you guys have a mission statement for BSU?
Unite, educate, celebrate.
Okay, make it solidify that mission statement. So in the next meeting, maybe you guys could talk about it. You guys could offer ideas. But like to have a mission statement is so powerful because, you know, every time you come into a meeting, every time you guys have an event, you are striving towards the mission, the overall goal, what you guys want to accomplish through this organization. Right, and my name is Jordan Davis. Thank you guys for your time.